So welcome back. Now, my guest has been on with me. Now we're talking 7 years. Can you imagine that? First of all, I can't even believe that I've been on for 10 years, 9 years, almost 10. And I have with me Ted Watkins. He's been one of my longest clients I've had on my show now, for sure. And he's an enrolled agent. I want you to tell everybody, yes, he has been on many times before. And there's a reason for that, and there's many reasons. One, because you say it works, and number two is because you get to help a lot of people. Let's talk a little bit about yourself. Welcome back to the show, and tell them why you do this.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Carol. It's great to be back, and we're having our weather we all live for in Phoenix starting up.
Thankfully.
And but what's happening to our Arizona Cardinals football team?
I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't either. So, but anyway, my name's Ted Watkins, and if you haven't heard me before, I'm what's called an enrolled agent before IRS. And a lot of you may not have heard of enrolled agents, but we've been around a very long time. In fact, President Abraham Lincoln is the one that started us out back in the 1860s. Now, I haven't been around quite that long, but I have been around since 1978. So I've been doing this a few years. So, but the reason I come on a lot, like Carol said, is I do enjoy helping people. And besides doing regular tax return preparation, I do a lot of what we call tax representation work with the IRS and also the Arizona Department of Revenue. And I actually, since I have a federal license, I can work with anyone in the entire United States. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to live in Arizona. I have clients in about 23 different states. So what I can do is you have to be either an enrolled agent, a CPA, or an attorney to represent a person before the IRS. So all you'd have to do is to sign an IRS power of attorney. You're not signing your life away. It only allows me to talk to IRS. I can't get into your bank account or anything like that. And so I can help negotiate a settlement with the IRS or the Department of Revenue. I came from California, so I still do a lot of work with the Franchise Tax Board also. But so I enjoy helping people out because the IRS is the worst collection agency in the world, and they can make your life miserable.
They're brutal. We've talked about it.
That's for sure.
They are. But also I want to talk about something real quickly. First of all, I want everybody to know that Ted does have the sharpest pencil I've ever seen anyone have. Right. He's so meticulous, and he's going to be doing a new giveaway, and that's what I want to get out real quickly, too, because he's added something to it. He always loves to give things out to everybody, and he's even added something to it. Let's talk a little bit about, first of all, you have a tax organizer that I want everybody to hear about, because, first of all, I think everyone should have it no matter what. No matter what, I think everybody should have it. Go ahead. Okay,
well, if you go onto my website, which is tedwatkinsea.com, if you look on the home page on the left-hand corner, there's a little icon called Tax Center. If you click on that, it's a 15-page tax organizer, we call it. Now, you don't have to be overwhelmed by it because it's kind of a one-size-fits-all. So if you own real estate, or if you own your own business, or if you're a stock trader, or if you just work for a company, it'll handle that for you. And the good thing about it is it covers just about every legal tax deduction that you're entitled to take. So if you go through it and read it, you'll pick up a lot of deductions you may not have ever known about.
And you don't have to go on to his website. You can to look him up. But if you can't do that and you have an issue with that, you can call in here. We're going to give everything away right from here. So you can call in and get all of this. What was this that also you added to this? Now, you said one of the number one questions that you get from people is how long that they should keep their records. So you've got this record retention guide that you want to give everyone to. Go ahead, tell them about it.
Okay, sure. Probably the biggest question I do get is how long should I keep my records? Because, at some point your whole house gets filled up with them. So at some point you want to get rid of them. So what I came up with, I call it my record retention guide, and it covers both personal and business. It goes over how long to keep your documents, documents, and there's also a list of documents that you need to keep pretty much forever. For example, your deed to your house, your purchase documents for your home, and there's some other wills and trusts, things like that. So, but if you go through this, you can feel safe about, and I always recommend that people take their documents to a shredding service, or if you have a shredder of your own in your home or business, then you should shred documents, particularly if they have your social security number and personal information, address, and so forth. So I think, like I said, I get this question a lot, and I hope it helps out people. It's about 3 or 4 pages long, so it goes over just about any type of document for your personal or business life.
We could just sit here and talk about all your giveaways just for the time that you're on. You also do a free Walmart card and a Starbucks card. I'll get it out. So you also are going to get that. He will go back for you for the last 3 years for free. That's no cost for you. Also, he does this. This is also for everything. Everyone gets entered in to win either a personal, business, or tax return for business or personal tax return for 2015 if you didn't do it, 16 if you've done it, but you got to do 16 now only. You can't do 15s anymore. Well, you can. You can go back many, many years.
Yeah, we can still do 15 if you file an extension, which gives you through October.
But if you haven't done it, he's going to help you and get you some peace of mind on that. We're entering everyone in to win either 2015 or 16 personal or business tax return. That's a $400 value at least to you, free. All of this is free that he's offering to you. He's been doing this since 1978. He has 2 locations in the Valley. One is in North Scottsdale. The other was in North Phoenix. He can help anyone. I'm yelling it out to all the people across the country right now because he can help anyone. So you can call in from anywhere. His website is tedwatkinsea.com. His phone number to call direct is 602-363-1952 or 480-707-7670. And I'll say it slower the next time around, guys. Call in here, get entered in to win all of these wonderful things that I believe everyone should have. Whether or not you use them or not, I think everyone should have this information. He wants to help you. That's what he's all about. 602-277-5369 and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. Go ahead.
Okay, well, another question I get a lot is, okay, so you're an enrolled agent, so why should I use you?
Why should they use you?
Why should they use me? So there's basically, I can kind of boil it down to 3 main reasons. The first is that enrolled agents, we're strictly tax people, and I'm not here to put CPAs down, but CPAs do accounting as well as taxes. Enrolled agents, now I do actually do some accounting too, but enrolled agents are specifically trained. We take a 3-day test, or it used to be 3 days, it's on the computer now, but we take a test that is strictly on tax law. So, and then we also have to take 24 hours of continuing education each year to keep up with all the tax changes. And you may not have heard much about tax changes recently because of all the elections, but we've actually had, last year we had 5 major tax bills, and that's pretty typical. Usually we see 3 to 5 tax bills a year. So that's one reason we're pretty much strictly tax, and then also enrolled agents also do usually a lot more work with representing taxpayers before the IRS than a lot of CPAs do, or for that matter, attorneys. But also the second reason is my fees are actually quite reasonable. A lot of times they'll be at or less than the national franchises like H&R Block, Liberty, and Jackson Hewitt. So now I do some complicated returns too, so the fees will be a bit more on those. But if you work for a company and you just have the standard normal deductions like mortgage interest and real estate taxes, you'll find my fees are very competitive.
Well, I'll tell you something. I think that there's nothing like having an enrolled agent do your taxes. And he has the sharp pencil. He's been doing this since 1978. He has 2 Valley locations. One is in North Scottsdale. The other one is in North Phoenix. His website is tedwatkinsea.com. You can call him direct. He does free consultations. He wants to help everyone out there, whether you haven't done them in years. I think the longest one you said you went back for like 9 years or something like that crazy.
Yeah, we had 15 was our
Was it 15?
15 years.
So you see, there's a lot of people that haven't done their taxes. So our number here here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Get entered in to win a personal or business tax return for 2015 and 16. That's a $400 value free to you. He's got his organizer. He's got his record retention guide that he's giving you. It's a Walmart card or Starbucks card. It's a free consultation. Give us a call here. Get entered in to win. 602-277-5369. So welcome back. We're talking with Ted Watkins. He's an enrolled agent. He's been on the show many, many times. There are several reasons why he does it. Most important reason is because he likes to help people out there. There's always new listeners. There's always people that say, oh yeah, I should call them, but they don't. Then they call you, right? We have that with a lot of my guests that come on a lot. And we have our lines open here, and I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for all of these things I'm giving away. But right now, today, we're giving away his tax organizer, which I believe everyone should have. You're not going to get intimidated by it in any way because you only need to use it for what you need. Also, now the new thing he's giving out, he said the number one question that he gets asked is how long you should keep your records. But there's many reasons than just an answer. There's not just a 3-year thing. It's more than that. It's very in-depth. This is a 4-page guide. It's his record retention guide that he's giving everybody for free. He's also going to enter everyone in to win a business or personal tax return for 2015 and 16 if you haven't done them. And if you have, then you can do it for free. For him, you got to get entered in to win for that. That's a $400 value right there. He also wants to give everyone a Walmart card or a Starbucks card to talk to you a little bit about what your options are and make you feel good. Our number here again is 602-277-5369 and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. And yes, he can help anyone in the United States. So everybody that's listening everywhere. Guam, is that still one of them or whatever?
Yep, that's right.
Everyone gets entered in to win. Call us here, 602-277-5369. Go ahead.
Okay, well, one thing I wanted to talk about, if you are unfortunate enough to have some tax issues, you'll probably get, eventually the IRS will file what's called a federal tax lien against you. And unfortunately, that's public knowledge. So you will, once that federal tax lien is filed with your county recorder, you're going to get inundated with mail and telephone calls from companies around the country, but primarily out of Los Angeles and Denver, that will promise to help you. And you probably heard all the ads, settle for pennies on the dollar. Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of bad apples in those companies, and a lot of them charge some very serious fees. I've heard as high as $18,000 for one company out of Los Angeles. But the way I work is the only upfront money that you have to come up with is $175 for my power of attorney fee. And what that gets you is, besides filing the power of attorney with the IRS, is I'll order transcripts for each year that'll show you exactly what you owe, and it's broken down into interest, penalties, and the actual tax. It'll show any payments you might have made, any refunds that have been applied. So you'll get that for each year that you owe for. And what that does is you have to, before you can solve your problem, you have to know what your problem is. So that'll tell you all the years that you owe for, and also the IRS requires that you be in what they call full filing compliance. And what that means is all of your tax returns up through right now the 2015 tax year have to be filed, because they won't start to negotiate with me before all those returns are filed. So that's step one. And even if you owe tax, you don't have to send in money, the returns, but they do have to be on file. So, but like I said, the only upfront money is $175. Then you can decide to hire me. Hopefully you will. But if you don't, there's no further obligation. So I will give you a copy of those transcripts for your records, and you can try, if you want to try to settle it yourself, that's fine too. I wouldn't suggest it, but because too many people get invested in their own case, and I've done so many cases, to me it's just a business.
Right, and you've been doing this since 1978. It is not a good idea you try and do it yourself. Everybody talks too much. much, and that's the problem. You've got 2 locations. One is in North Scottsdale. The other one is in North Phoenix. Your website is tedwatkinsea.com. His phone number, he does free consultations, is 602-363-1952 or 480-707-7670. And like I said, he's been doing it since 1978. We've got everyone entered in to win. It is a free business or personal tax return. That's a $400 value, free to you or anyone you know. He's going to go back 3 years for you for free at no cost. He's going to give you the tax organizer. Get us here. She wants to get us the number so we can connect you. We're going to give you the tax organizer, which everyone should have. Also, the record retention guide. That's another thing that he's given everyone. That's another 4-page guide for everyone. And a Walmart or a Starbucks card as well. He just wants to give you things because he loves helping people and he loves people. So 602-277-5369 and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. You got any stories, any war stories today you want to tell?
Okay. I do have one that a person that came in who had listened to the radio show for quite a while, thank you very much, and he had waited, had listened to me for quite a few shows, and he finally decided to call in. So what his situation was is the last tax return he filed was for 2009. So he had 6 years to file. Now, unfortunately, the 2010, 2011, and 2012 returns all had refunds that he would have received. Now, unfortunately, the IRS only allows you to get refunds for the last 3 tax years, which is 2013, 14, and 15. So that 2011, or 10, 11, and 12, that money went into what I call the IRS black hole. So for 13, 14, and 15, unfortunately, he owed money for each of those years. But the total it came to about $3,000, and there'll be a little bit of penalties and interest tacked onto that. But anyway, I was able to get a payment plan for him for $50 a month. That's over 60 months. Unfortunately, that's 5 years. But still,
that's doable.
That's doable for most people, I think. And the bad thing is that if he had procrastinated anymore, he would probably have been. They would start to issue levies against his bank account and his wages. And a wage levy is particularly bad because they haven't changed the exemptions that they allow you since about the mid-1970s. So right now, you can't even pay your utility bills on what they allow you to keep. So I've had people, not personally, but I've heard of people losing their homes, being evicted from their apartments and so forth because they simply didn't have enough income to pay their bills.
Well, that's why we have you come on so much. You love coming on here. You've been on for almost 7 years now, and he does have 2 locations. One is in North Scottsdale. The other one is in North Phoenix. His website, please check him out. It's tedwatkinsea.com. If you have not done your taxes, for $175, you're into it to find out where you stand. That's it. And he does do free consultations. He'll go back for free for you for 3 years at no cost. He's going to give you the tax organizer by calling in here. Also, the record retention guide, which a lot of people want to know how long they should keep their records and what they should keep and what have not. That's a 4-page guide right here. And also, he wants to give you a free Walmart card or a Starbucks card. I am going to let everybody call throughout the rest of the show. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Get entered in to win. Oh, did I not say that you're giving in a free business or personal tax return?
No.
I got to say that too. We're going to need another half an hour just for all the giveaways. And so you're going to get entered in to win a personal or business tax return if you haven't done them, or if you have, he wants to help you. That's a $400 value, free to you or anyone you know. 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866 775-336-1100. We have a couple of minutes. That's a long time. What should we talk about?
Okay, well, one thing that's probably of interest to quite a lot of people out there is that the state of Arizona has an amnesty program which goes on now through the end of October. And so it covers returns prior to 2014. And so what they're doing there is if now you can't have been contacted by them previously, but if you're coming up on your own, they will waive the penalties, interest, and any criminal penalties as long as you come forward. So you just have to file your tax returns. Now you do, if you owe money, you have to pay a third of what you owe up front. And then they allow you 2 years to pay off the other 2/3.
Is it a good idea for them to call someone like you and have you behind them? You know, that they don't just come up there and try to do it themselves on that?
Well, yeah, it certainly doesn't hurt because I'm familiar with the program and I can know who to talk to. So part of the problem is you have to know who to talk to at the Department of Revenue, because if you call on their telephone line, you get a different person every time you talk to them. So.
I think everybody should talk to Ted. He does free consultations. He can work with anyone in the United States of America. So you can call him at 602-363-1952 or 480-707-7670. The website is tedwatkinsea.com. Call us in here. You're going to get entered in to win all the things that I've been saying. I can't even say them all. Business tax return and personal tax return, those are free. That's a $400 value free to you. Call throughout the rest of the show, 602-277-5369.